DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
It is a very warm welcome back to the show to the Crusaders coach, Rob Penney. Thanks so much for your time, mate. You just finished training?
Yeah, just off a large meeting block this morning and a 6 o'clock swim. So, yeah, boys have got the rest of the day off, so that's nice.
So just walk us through quickly then. So, how long you've been, got the squad together. What happens before Christmas? When do you get back into it after Christmas?
Yep, we got together 2 weeks ago, and we've got 15 away with either All Black duties, New Zealand 15, or long medium-term injuries. So we've got a block of work that will go through to the 19th of December, and a lot of these boys are emerging Crusaders, which is really nice to get some work into them, and then we're back to work on the 6th of January in earnest.
Bloody hell, that's a lot to be missing, Rob. I mean, we were just talking about it in the office before you came on and about the injuries you had last year. People forget about this, but you were decimated last year. I mean, are all of these guys going to be fit for you when it comes to actual kickoff?
Well, we're working through a couple of the ones that were teetering, I guess, by the end of the campaign with the ABs, New Zealand 15. But a majority of them, which is really pleasing, are in good shape. We're not going to end up with a Will Jordan pulling out in January like we did last year and having to find a late replacement. So to that end, we're very hopeful that our big dogs, I guess you would describe them as, will be available for the start of the year, and that'll hopefully allow us to build some momentum, because obviously it's only top 6 this year, so starting well is important.
Is there, or how much, if there is, anything lingering from last season? Have you been able to do the Steve Hansen, flush the dunny and move on?
Oh yeah, we've done a lot of good work in the last couple of months. You'd expect an organisation like this to do a really thorough, assiduous review, and as I think we've repeated from all levels of the organisation, that there was nothing really unsuspecting coming out of the review, but there's lots of small bits that cumulatively add up to a percentage which we've delved into, and we feel as though we've gone a long way to rectifying. And so in terms of the review stuff, we've reacted really positively and meaningfully to the information that we were able to divulge, but the reality was there was nothing that was that jumped out of us and said, "Oh, we've missed something major here."
On a personal level, was there criticism of you, and how do you absorb that as a person?
Not internally, and as I think I've mentioned, if I felt as though there was an issue with myself, the last thing I would ever want to do is compromise any team I'm with if I'm the problem, and that was never an issue at any point. And as sometimes people say, they've got or they're giving you their wholehearted support. Well, that was genuine here, and so I was able to do what I was doing and had the support of everyone around me. And externally, there was lots of noise, but it was so pleasing. The boys, kept focusing and trying to get better, and the group was trying to get better every week, and the coaching staff and the support staff were all beavering away doing what they do. It wasn't a pleasant situation. There was lots of pressure points all over the place, but as I said, the learnings have been taken out of that, and as you alluded at the start, if we can keep our most important players on the park consistently, and they can be supported by a group of players now that have had a year of experience of trying to lead without some of the more influential players on the park, we're all going to be better for it.
Just looking back at the last season, just briefly, look, the opening match, that second half against the Chiefs, your scrum went to work, and I think all of us watching were going, oh, here they go again, the Crusaders. You ended up beating the Chiefs at home. You beat the Blues. You isolate those wins. They're really impressive. And so how much do you go back and go, okay, guys, as a team, as a squad, let's look at those? And do you actually do that, point them in that direction?
Oh, I think we're well aware of all those situations. We don't need to highlight what happened last year in terms of how close we were a number of times. The main learnings are, it's only tiny margins to go from a 3 or 5 point loss to a 3 or 5 point win. So, when we reflect back, just some key people missing for us in those tighter moments that we struggled to get across the line at crucial moments. One went away from finishing sixth. We finished sixth. We're in the hunt at the playoffs, and we're finishing quite strongly at the back end, which I think is a great credit to the group after that season to still want to go out and compete, and we're finishing strongly. And I think there was a few nervous teams hoping we weren't going to make the playoffs, and I guess that's an indicator of how well we started to get going towards the back end when we got some players back.
And the thing is with you bloody Cantabs, as we all know, mate, and a lot of respect there, but, is that, everyone has got this feeling it's like the Australian cricket team. You're not going to be down for long. And yet, here they go again. They are going to come back.
Well, that's the challenge. And it's, to a degree, it's actually an awesome challenge. You think back of some of the great Crusaders sides, and it hasn't always been plain sailing. If you think back to 96, finished last.
Yep.
98, they won. 2001, finished 10th. 2002 went through unbeaten. And that's just a couple of examples of the resilience and the bounce back, I guess, of that the group's shown in the past. And we'll use that as real motivation pieces. There's an expectation that we bounce, and we will. How good we bounce will be up to all of us, and the mindset that we take into the 2025 campaign. But there's a lot of hunger there, and a lot of excitement, and a genuine desire to play well. Whether that's enough to get us across the line, we believe it will be, and we believe we've got a talented group here that'll do the job. So, the challenge there in front of us.
Adversity. Everyone always says, doesn't it, that you need adversity because that's when you learn more about yourself. Is that actually true for you?
Well, I think there's certainly when adversity occurs, you either curl up on a ball in the middle and suck your thumb.
Yeah, hide under the duvet. Yeah.
Or you emerge and you put your shoulders back and your chin out, and you confront it head on, and it's either adversity or a moment where you learn something about yourself and about your teammates in this instance, and about the environment that you're in. And sometimes unfortunately, life isn't all about plain sailing, as we know, and in a team context, a little bit of adversity. As I said, it'll make the character of the group emerge, and for some it'll be a moment of growth, and for some it won't.
Rob, how much did you question yourself? Did you go back to that kind of base level of asking everything about yourself? Am I doing it right? Do I have the confidence of these guys? Can I resurrect? How much of that actually went on inside your own head last year?
Well, reflection's something that I deeply believe in. Whether you win or lose, you're always questioning, how can we endeavour to get better? Are we doing the right things? The comfort came from having a large number of people that have been around in the organisation for the previous successful campaigns under A, and the knowledge that the work that was going in was comparable to anything that had been around before. And so there was a lot of comfort in that, being told that, and you can sometimes start jumping at shadows and going down rabbit holes which you don't want to do, and it was just about under really, I guess, difficult circumstances emotionally, making sure that the players were able to get on and do their work without being exposed to it too much. But they knew the scrutiny was on them every week, and the desire and the effort was there. And as I said, we we took a lot of learnings collectively out of the campaign by, how can we turn a 3-point loss in the last minute round to a 3-point win in the last minute, and we just didn't achieve that enough last year to get ourselves into the hunt of the playoffs. And those moments now, hopefully, you'll see a different outcome.
We're all humans, though, and we all feel it. And I know that, it's always described as external noise, but it does get in, and it did affect you as well. How are you going to deal with it again? And what have you learned from, say, that press conference, for example, where, I thought that, the question, whether or not you were expected, the questions were there, they were asked, and your reaction afterwards was fair enough as well, but it just so happened there was a microphone on. Do you regret that? And how do you grow and learn from that kind of experience?
Oh yeah, that was highly embarrassing, and I would hope, given that experience, it was a learning one for me. Poor preparation, so yeah, I'd expect to handle that entirely differently. I wasn't aware, that the microphone hadn't been turned off. It's a word I should never have used. That was a regretful situation.
It happens, mate.
Yeah, it's I've got to be better, and I guarantee I will be. It won't happen again. Look, the noise creeps in, and but I, as I said, there's lots and lots of reasons why I wasn't doubting myself in the situation, and I had a lot of faith. Always said I believed in the boys, and I believed they could get there. Even right up until the last, there was still a chance we had to rely on another team, but the last weekend we still were in with an outsider's chance of getting there. When you put the outcome in the hands of other teams, you're full of hope, but your reality is that
can't control it.
Control. Yeah. And but right up until the end, we believed that we were going to be in the playoffs, and it was heartbreaking not to get there, obviously. And what's unfolded in the last 3 or 4 months from there has been really, I guess, really, really positively dealt with. That's all I can say. It's been an awesome experience to be part of the organisation that's, as I said, reviewed so assiduously, and I think the organisation will be better for it in the long term.
Are there KPIs for you in terms of wins, achievement, making finals for this season?
I don't even know that. I don't know.
Okay. So there's not, like, they haven't actually laid it down and said, listen, what happened last year? If you don't do it this year, well, then that's it. You're it.
No. Okay. I'm off contract at the end of the year. So all I wanted, I'm passionate red and black, passionate Crusader, and I just want these boys to fulfil their dreams, and they don't do that by finishing ninth.
Who's your first five? Because James O'Connor stuck his hand up and said, I want it to be me.
He has. How good? He's got a bit of competition, though.
Mm-hmm.
And we're developing some really nice ones underneath as well. So, who's going to be the 10? We've got a lot of time for Rivers. We've got a lot of time for Taha. We've got James in there, adding a bit of iron to the mix. And, that decision hasn't been made. There's a lot of water to go under the bridge yet. But, they're all making the right noises.
And it's kind of like almost the end of an era because, year after next, it's going to be that beautiful brand new stadium and everything else. And so I guess what I'm trying to get at is that this is the last year that the Crusaders fans are going to have to put up with this. It's not substandard, but you know what I mean. It's not the flashiest place in the world and everything else. How much thanks do you give, the loyalty of that franchise and the people that come every game and the cold and everything else, mate? I think it's impressive.
Oh, you couldn't have spoken or put it more beautifully. It's a credit to the place. Like, people were jealous about our supporters.
Yes,
and
yes,
you did
yes,
right.
yes.
They're passionate. Who cares? They got one eye.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, mate. I like that.
They love their team. Yeah, well, they love their team, and we all love football, and the supporters that the football clubs get over, particularly in Europe and so forth, is just unreal. And we have the similar thing here for our rugby team, and the boys love it. They're they feed off it, they sense it, and Addington's been a tough gig for a long time, but it's our home, and we need to protect that home with a lot of passion and desire, and the supporters who come along to watch us, they need to see that in us, and I know they will, and they do, and it's a reciprocal arrangement with our supporters that they love us passionately, and we pay them back with what we do on the grass for them.
Are you prepared to put a guarantee down that you're going to make the finals this year?
I don't think anybody can guarantee anything in sport. It's the beautiful thing about it. But if I had a bit of spare cash, I'd be putting some dods at the TAB for us. Yeah.
That's the last thing every other fan of every other team wants to hear, Rob.
Good.
Good. Hey, look, thank you so much for being so generous with your time as always. Love catching up with you, mate. And, whatever happens this year, you know what you're doing. Those players know what they're doing. And so you just keep doing.
Well, I appreciate it. And, it's good to reflect back. But we're forward focused now. And as I said, we've got a great group. The opportunities for us are there, and we'll be grabbing those. And just to wish you and your staff and everybody listening a very Merry Christmas, Happy and Safe New Year, and look forward to seeing you all in 2025.
Yeah, mate. Can't wait. We'll catch up then. Thank you so much, mate.
Awesome. Cheers, mate.
DSPN.